Following England versus Andorra, there was some talk on the Football Ramble Discord about who might replace Harry Kane up top once the time comes. No one else really gets a look in, and at the moment, the only other alternatives are, and this is quite a
terrifying list when you see it written out like
Would
this.
you call it exhaustive?
Yes.
Yeah. So the other alternatives are Ollie Watkins, Dominic Solanke, Liam Delap, Ivan Toney, Danny Welbeck, Tammy Abraham, Eddie Nketiah, Jay Stansfield, and last and perhaps least, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Most of these are out of favour, already due to age or injuries, or are just not established yet. So who is the successor to Kane? There are a few names in there that respectfully, and I do mean respectfully, you can maybe put to one side. But Jim, to answer the question head on, to start us off, who are you going for?
So if right now Harry Kane picks up an injury and we know that he's not going to make the World Cup, it's Ollie Watkins. It just is.
Right.
I think taking a slightly longer view, though, Watkins is 30 in December, so there is every chance that he will begin to wane as Kane does. Obviously, he's a bit younger.
The Kane wane.
But indeed.
We've had Wayne, we've had Kane.
Indeed, but Kane's longevity has been exceptional and is unusual, isn't it, I suppose, for a player to be that good for that long. So it's not unreasonable to suspect that the same could happen to Ollie Watkins. And I think after him, it's a straight shootout between Dominic Solanke and Liam Delap. I think the rest of the names on that list probably won't even make squads, Toney aside, or possibly barring an emergency and the kind of resurgence in form of Tammy Abraham. I think that's kind of going to be the case. So that's a really interesting shootout. I think, none of those players do the same job that Kane does, but at the same time, there are good players there. I think you agree with me on this, Marcus. I look at the season that Liam Delap had last year, and I think there's a lot of raw talent there, really, really physical. Seems kind of very, very switched on as well. I think he has got a really, really good opportunity to establish himself as that guy going forward. Obviously, he's going to be competing with João Pedro for a lot of minutes in that position at Chelsea. So remains to be seen how much he'll actually play. Dominic Solanke's kind of been quite unlucky with injuries, really. So it's a big season for him as well in terms of how much he can establish himself at Spurs. And Kyle Moani's there now as well. So again, minutes might be an issue. But yeah, it's not. It doesn't feel like there's any kind of great. Obvious successor coming through, does it? I guess Delap is the closest we have to that. So it makes me wonder, would he maybe play Rashford there? Jared Bowen's also played as a striker. Those are kind of the options that you might be looking at if you're going to go for a real wild card. Mikel Arteta has said that he might see Ethan Nwaneri as a striker in the future, but that's obviously years and years away if he's going to establish himself there. So
everyone's a striker in Arsenal, aren't they?
Well, and at the same time, no one is. So it's kind of a really, really tricky one.
Yeah, Peter, what did you think when this question entered your mailbox?
I think if they continue to play the way that they do, and in the insistence that they want sort of Harry Kane to be the focus of how England are going to play, it has to be Ivan Toney for me. I know he's he'll hopefully be coming back sooner rather than later.
Bring him home.
If he wants to take half of his money home to re-establish himself as quite a capable Premier League striker, and hopefully he won't have missed a step at like 29, 30 years now, I think, isn't he?
29, yeah.
I think they have to be looking at someone like Toney. He's got a lot of miles, he's got a lot of intelligence on the ball, and he can hold up play as well. So yeah, I think Delap's functionally a different footballer to Harry Kane, and England seem to want to play in one way. He's going to be a long time retired, I think, Harry Kane, for that England side, and I think Toney is the one for me.
And has tournament experience with it.
And has tournament experience.
Yeah,
exactly. And he came on and he played well. And the times he's been kind of asked to do a job, even like in the 10 minutes that he got at the end of the football matches.
He can take a penalty.
And he can take a bloody penalty as well, which is increasingly important on the international stage.
And didn't he just during the Euros? Yeah. I mean, the names mentioned, I would be foolish to try and make a case for anyone else. I mean, Tammy Abraham's 27. Good footballer, but hasn't been involved with England. It would be very surprising.
Yeah, not prolific.
I think he would need a huge upturn in form. Eddie Nketiah is 26.
Yeah,
is Eddie Nketiah. So again,
if he was going to stake a claim, it probably would have happened before now.
Quite possibly. Again, people, I mean, anything's possible in one regard, but, the law of averages and even the law of below averages, it's unlikely that the form of, say, Eddie Nketiah is going to warrant everybody to say, my goodness, we should be looking at him.
Yeah. Jay Stansfield's an interesting one, isn't
he's
he?
the only one. I mean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, like if he suddenly becomes the player and gets a right, but again, it's if it's
I think those days are gone.
It's not even one if with Calvert-Lewin. There's a few there. Jay Stansfield is the only other one, but again, he's the same age as Delap. He's 22 and he's barely played in the top level.
But England. I mean, if you look at Toney, it shows that it is possible for players to mature a bit later.
So Jay Stansfield, it's good for the England under 21s, of course. He's been banging them in for Birmingham. He's been brilliant there. They got promoted. Jay Stansfield, let's see in 2 or 3 years' time. I mean, if he can get into the Premier League and start scoring and start playing, then he's in the conversation. But in the here and now, I know Delap's injured right now at this moment, but it's got to be Delap really. I think Ivan Toney's time with England is not done yet. I know Luke's is very, very passionately against that idea because he thinks if you go to Saudi, that's the end of you. I personally don't think that. I think there is an argument for it. I understand his thinking, but I agree.
You have to come back and give at least half a season to prove that you are back where you were when you left.
Mind you, talking about acclimatising, though, I mean, he's used to warm weather players. Good going, Andy. So, yes, I suspect, though, see, with Dominic Solanke, again, in the conversation, I would have him behind Watkins right now. Yeah. Kane 1, Watkins 2, Solanke 3, because Watkins has done something of note in an England shirt.
Yeah.
And in the Euros, as it panned out, no disrespect to Kane, because he's one of the most reliable footballers England's probably ever produced.
But he wasn't fit.
He wasn't. He was injured. And actually, I forget which journalist was saying this, but said it became very obvious to him, and I think it did indeed all of us in that final. After about half an hour, it was like Kane's not up to the task here, and so at half-time Watkins should have come on. I know he came on a little bit later. You saw the impact he had in the semi-final. So I think Watkins is there, but England playing a different way with Watkins. But, and I think this is the best argument for Watkins, is I think Watkins' style, running in behind and that kind of way.
Much better against more attacking teams and better teams, I think.
And yes,
you just don't get the room against an Andorra, for example.
Indeed. And I think that complements some of the players now that are coming into the England side.
Well, I think what should be said in Kane's defence, though, right, is I think we're all broadly agreed that he didn't have the best tournament because he wasn't fully fit. And he still scored a really impressive amount of goals that were very important for England. Despite not being at his best. And that is a talent in itself, right? To score when you're not particularly playing that well or when you're not at the absolute top of your game. He's really reliable in a way that very few strikers in world football are.
Yeah. Just to add to that, by the way, and I'm not saying you were saying this, let us be clear, he's quite possibly the greatest forward that England have ever produced. Certainly one of, no doubt about that. So this is not a case, we're not doing that thing where it's like, is it time for Kane to sit on the bench? No, he's the first name. For me, him or Rice are the first names on that team sheet. So this is very much...
But that day will come, won't it?
Yeah, but we are talking about a successor. And we are also, as you mentioned on yesterday's pod, Peter, what is the plan if indeed Kane is tired or he's injured and so on? And so I just want to be absolutely clear in case anybody thinks that there is...
bashing Harry Kane.
Exactly, which is clearly not
Give it another season, though, and it might become a toxic situation that we have to make a decision.
Well, I mean,
do more
with Rooney,
amazing, do amazing footballers, do amazing football international teams always have this problem where the players are starting to age out a little bit. You build a team around someone that's always there, even when they're injured.
Is there a Portuguese example? I don't know. Anyway,
well, he's sort of had an amazing last couple of last season, hasn't he? In a Portugal
still delivering.
Shirt, so weird.
Can I just make the point that Erling Haaland was born in Leeds, and that if he doesn't switch allegiances to the country of his birth, he should be deported.
Really capturing the current climate there, Jim. Should we campaign for the FIFA rules to change?
Yeah, why not?
Where the country you're born in, you have to play.
Or we just ignore them.
Okay.
And just see what happens.
It seems to be the thing, isn't it? If we're going to sort of not bother with the European Court of Human Rights, why don't we just dip out of all the rules?
The only problem is that Erling Haaland could overpower us all.
He might well have a say.
It will be his decision ultimately, which seems to be no. So I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because as you say, Peter, Kane is only going to get older. This chat is only going to get a bit louder. But right now, it's obviously Kane. Who's going to be the successor? It's slim pickings. What I would say, though, there's something that's given me a little bit of hope as an England fan, and I appreciate we've never won a major tournament in my lifetime, is when England, because of the production line, I mean, you have to say academies like Manchester City and so on, but because of the production line now and the young talent that does come through, whenever I tend to think England really need that type of player, a holding midfielder, for example, and Adam Morton pops up. I know he's not been given much of a
We're
go.
adequately stocked in pretty much every position, aren't we?
Yeah.
Not amazingly stocked, but adequately stocked, which we've not
Yes.
been at every step of England's sort of last 30 years. Have we?
Yeah, and I think yes, and I think that's right, and I think you remember the time when it was like England just don't have a certain type of player, and you got it's a Gareth Barry shaped hole, and it's like let's put a lot on one player.
Yeah.
So I think the production line does come along, and players are produced, but let's say worst case scenario, something did happen to Kane and he's injured and he can't play, then putting in Watkins or Dominic Solanke, I still think, England have still got a lot of attacking players. It's the players around and so on and so forth. And other sides have won tournaments with not necessarily the most potent of strikers.
Yeah.
But with...
Look at Mikel Oyarzabal is a great example. He's not someone that really pops up as someone that people consider to be like up there with the best strikers in the world, but he's really, really effective and he works really, really well in that system.
And he bloody well popped up in that annoying time,
didn't he?
All right, coming up after this, more of your questions.
Got a message from friend of the Ramble, Big Con, on the Discord. Given England games are exceptionally dull affairs, and they're made even worse by the dullness of Matterface and Dixon commentary, who would the Rambles have as commentators to bring some excitement into an England game? Can be literally anyone you want.
That's a touch harsh on Sam Matterface.
I'd say he's not the worst offender, is he? I suppose
He's a safe pair of tonsils.
he's a safe pair of tonsils.
But
I
it's
think he's an all right commentator.
yeah, it's okay though, isn't it? Do we need it at all?
Commentary.
Yeah.
Well, we could
Go
have
to the game, Jim.
some sort of audio for sure,
Yeah.
but doesn't necessarily need to be
Stick
related
on
to
a
the game
podcast.
at all. We're all used to sort of double screening and doing 3 or 4 things at once now. Could we get, say, Rebecca Vardy and Colleen Rooney in a room together and have them just mediate over the top of the game? So there's something for everybody.
With artificial intelligence, presumably, you could get like anybody in history, and you could have. It's like a silent
how's it-
Discord.
but how's
I'm listening to one thing, you're listening to another.
But how's it reacting to the match? Is there a soundboard and a very busy octopus working it as the game's going on?
It's just a server side the artificial intelligence machine that just basically gives you commentary from Silvio Berlusconi and Hitler. Whoever you want.
Yeah.
As a
Like one of those
commentator, you
dinner
could have whoever
parties.
you want.
You could have chosen anybody.
I could have chosen everybody, and I've chosen exactly how I wanted.
Right, okay.
I suppose another option would be to mic up a player on each team, and they have to do it in game.
Yeah.
The captain of each team has to do it in game.
James Maddison would be too up for that, wouldn't he? Let's be honest. And what's his name? Who used to play for Brighton and moved to Marseille? Who was his
Neil
nemesis?
Maupay. Yeah. Neil Maupay is not captaining
Yeah, but he'd
France
be well
anytime
up for
soon,
it.
though, is he?
True.
He's having a bad
international.
time at the moment, isn't he, Maupay?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's been bombed out.
Mopaying about, is he?
Poor Maupay.
I'd like an Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard, I think. Because you remember the old soundboards.
Impression coming.
No.
Impression coming.
No, but when Martin Tyler commentates, and there's I forget which game it was, but he just lets out a sort of cry.
Right, yeah.
And some commentators were like just a bit.
The kind of signature noise has become a thing recently, isn't it? Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher are always going, oh, in the background.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah, imagine Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's great.
That would be good. So you could, but that would be just, as I say, we'll just keep that as a soundboard.
This is how low things have fallen.
Yeah, Barry Davis and Trevor Brooking. There you go.
Yeah,
That's what I know.
with AI. Yeah, you get resurrects the greats with AI.
But to react to what's happening.
Yeah, there's a blogger who probably is on Knowing Terms of Football, a UK wrestler called Wade Barrett, who talks like this all the time.
Right, so it's a bit like-
like to hear him commentate on the soccer.
So early Jonathan Pierce.
Yeah, pretty much.
Actually, the way wrestling commentary often works is there's like a good guy and a bad guy, isn't there?
Yeah,
That
so
they often argue.
heel
actually,
commentator. Yeah,
maybe that'll make it more interesting.
yeah, just absolutely slating everything they're watching.
What about Tony Blair and Gordon Brown?
That'll be all right, wouldn't it?
Why
They
not?
always got on eventually, didn't they?
Well, it's a chance for them.
It's a chance for them. Why don't we bring back the old What was that? The Man City 5-0 or 5-1 at the Swamp guy.
Oh yeah, there was it was fan zone, wasn't it?
Fan zone.
And
that got ditched for a reason.
It did get ditched for a reason, but the Man City Man United one where City won 6-1, it would be influencers now, wouldn't it, if they did a thing like that? But they found this genuinely very authentic, very funny Man City fan who was having the absolute time of his life, just going, yeah,
But the
6-1 at the Swamp, take it, take
He
it,
couldn't believe it.
take it.
But
He was brilliant.
There was a
Very
rumour
good.
though that the Man United fan wasn't actually a Manchester United fan. That he was just a Man United fan. Apparently, he got ill or couldn't come.
Yeah.
And they just chucked a poor bloke in there.
Yeah,
who just sat there under the worst.
immortalised.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think we've answered that question, but I don't mind.
I think it was a pretty flippant question, if you ask me. Big con on the Discord.
Who's your man? Abash.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. He's
pillock.
already, have the two
No, but
Bosch
there's a
men.
couple- there's
Have
a
the two
cou-
Bosch
the
men.
two
There's-
Bosch men.
There's the man who's upset a lot of people by being quite anti-bots and all that.
Okay.
All the
Yeah.
trite that comes along with that.
Who's the
kind of
guy?
vibe.
The carpet guy, whatever
And
it is.
so he's
It's the same guy, isn't it?
he's the same guy. He's the guy who has roasts at like 7 a.m.
And he
blonde hair.
insists
Yeah.
that
Was
people
he-
are telling you that you can't have a fry up.
Exactly.
Even
yeah.
though no
When
one's doing
No one's
that.
told him that.
Yeah.
And
then the other guy.
And then the other guy who was
Older.
a bit, he was a bit more charitable, a bit more older, a bit
Right.
closer to death because of the way he eats.
Bit more older.
Bit more older. And he's he's a better slice of Bosch for me.
Is he?
Bosch.
Oh,
He gives a bit
right.
of Bosch.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe they could have a Bosch off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bosch
They
off.
could
Instead of
determine
a
who
goal,
can
it's like the
keep that
catchphrase when they score a goal.
England v Andorra. Like nothing's happening on the pitch. There's a mix. All you've got is that. Genuinely, yeah.
How about the
I'm on board.
How about the
Which
Aussie bloke?
obviously, matey boy wouldn't be happy about.
How about the Aussie bloke who does the "Tell us sorry your mother doesn't know"?
Oh yeah.
What about him?
Yeah,
And
but
the,
you want-
"Oh, man.
I feel
Get
that
the
was.
man in.
No, I feel that was his moment.
Was that his moment?
Yeah, come
Don't
on.
spread him too thin. To be fair, he's not been co-opted by a
Yeah,
betting
exactly,
company or he's not really
exactly.
he's not been reused. He's never been found
Exactly.
again.
He's not like the Wildstone Raider.
Let's go
Yeah.
out on a mission. Let's do a little searching for man.
Yeah.
Marcus, you love a 90s reference, so how about
Depends.
Bobcat Goldthwait and Gilbert Gottfried?
Don't know.
Yeah,
Gilbert.
okay.
Bobcat Goldthwait is the like police academy guy.
Yes, okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
Gilbert
Gottfried talks like this. Gottfried talks like this. It's the parrot in Aladdin.
I want the sound guy in as well.
Oh, the bloke from Police Academy.
Right. Oh yeah, Michael Winslow.
Yeah.
That'd be brilliant, actually. Yeah.
There you go. You see, we have answered the question.
We have
Jim.
answered the question, actually.
Perhaps we
Big
should
con.
have stopped short of answering it and moved on to the next question. Bosh.
Yes. So Josh Carr has been in touch on X, which you can find at twitter.com. What do you think of the increasing trend of young English talents who shine in their late teens / early 20s before their careers begin to stall or nosedive in some cases? Rashford, Ali, Lingard, Sancho, Mount, and many more have followed a similar trajectory in recent years. Do you think it's down to the shift in players' peak years you discussed a few weeks back, burning players out early, lack of good guidance, the increasing mental health crisis among young people, or a combination of the lot?
Yeah. Well, Josh, you see there's a theme there for some of those players. We'll take out Delhi for a moment.
Yeah.
Rashford, Lingard, Sancho, and Mount.
I'm seeing a certain colour shirt there. It's like the red shirt in Star Trek.
Yeah, I
where
think-
they're the ones who die first.
Yeah, exactly. I think that might be your answer, matey. Okay, so I'll go through those ones. And
Right.
I understand he's saying there's more, but
Rashford's had a
Rashford-
very good career up until about 2 seasons ago.
Well,
or even 1 season ago.
Rashford, when he burst onto the scene, and which he did, but establishes himself as a starting player for Manchester United and a very important player, scores some big goals, wins some trophies. Yes, the last couple of seasons, as you say, Pete, haven't been great. He is now playing for Barcelona. It did seem quite an unlikely move. We'll see how he gets on there. But so there's that. As we used to call him, Dele Alli or Dele now, he's recently been very open about his sort of, I suppose you call
his
it mental
background,
health, but his
yeah.
background, off-field
addiction
stuff.
to sleeping pills and stuff like that. That was a big
Exactly,
thing as well.
Peter.
Yeah.
Exactly. Jesse Lingard the same. As in, he also has spoken about off-field pressures
Yeah,
and things.
right.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's those two. Jadon Sancho. I do look at Manchester United in this context, because absolutely phenomenal at Borussia Dortmund, goes to Manchester United. It doesn't happen. He goes back on loan to Dortmund and ends up playing in a Champions League final, by the way.
Yeah.
So didn't do too badly when he was there. Then goes on loan to Chelsea. Didn't pull up too many trees, but it did okay, I suppose, but not enough to warrant the move.
Bothered some saplings, but nothing too.
Yeah, exactly. And then Mason Mount, I always felt that was an odd move for him going to Manchester
Yeah,
United.
and also he's been unlucky with injuries as well.
Been unlucky with injuries, never really fitted into the side, and now under Amorim is being given another chance. But so I think there will be other examples perhaps. So maybe that's unfair of me to just go through those ones systematically. But I understand why you've put that, Josh. It could be. I mean, I think you take it on a case by case basis. Yes, it could be. A combination of the lot, as you say. There's clearly mental health stuff there due to people's backgrounds or whatever. They have their reasons.
Which again is case by case.
Totally, absolutely, Jim. Of course, yeah. In terms of burnout, I'm not sure we're seeing that just yet. But I think the go back to Rashford. When he bursts on the scene and he's a young hopeful. But what are we expecting of the man's career? Because he's playing for Barcelona right now, and he has won trophies. I think sometimes, I honestly think still that everything has been skewed, especially for attacking talent, by Ronaldo and Messi. Ronaldo and Messi burst on the scene, youngsters, absolutely phenomenal talents, and then go on to break all the records, win all the trophies, and just do incredible things. Because Wayne Rooney, he was in there with them, for a little while, and I do stress a little while. There was always Rooney, our version of them, and of course, it would turn out that they are such unique talents that they are the top of the tree, and then you have everybody else. Rooney was brilliant. Rooney, was England's top scorer, is Manchester United's top scorer of all time. He's won the Champions League, blah. And yet some people, I think, will still look at Rooney and go, yeah, but did he actually reach the highs? Well, what are you expecting of a youngster who comes in and shows a lot of promise?
I also think that this is a great example of how difficult it is to establish yourself as a regular for an international team, especially a big international team, over a long period of time. In terms of like first names on the team sheet, in any generation, there aren't that many who are absolutely guaranteed starters. There's a few in the England setup at the moment. There's always
got
a
11
few
places.
Well, indeed, but there are 8 players, I think, who have made over 100 appearances for England. There's some with more caps than that, but it's only 8 of made 100 appearances, and that's quite telling in itself. I just think the level of players who can sustain that sort of international career as a starter for a long time is extremely, extremely high. And you get very, very good players that don't manage that.
And none of those players are defenders as well. So,
absolutely.
Well, there's definitely that.
Yeah, there's that. And also, I would say, if you look at the 2010 squad, so that had Sean Wright-Phillips, Joe Cole, Aaron Lennon and Theo Walcott. I think you can make an argument that all of those players started well, burned fairly brightly for a bit and then dipped. And then
Walcott would be the one there, maybe.
Yeah, but I think all of those you can put in that bracket for different reasons, obviously.
But with nowadays, with clips on social media, Walcott scores those goals for, was it the England under-21s, where he does an Henry-esque run. And Sven-Göran Eriksson calling him up to that World Cup squad.
Because of that
2006 World Cup squad. Sorry, that put so much pressure on it, and it was a poor choice. He should have gone for Defoe. But anyway, it was years ago now. But with Walcott, so much pressure that those clips, we start getting clips, swashing around social media and so on, and you see him do that run, as I say, and it's like, oh my goodness, this guy's like Thierry Henry, and then Arsenal soon sign him. You're likening him to Thierry Henry, one of the greatest forwards in the modern era. We're putting that pressure. What is his actual talent? What is he actually going to do? He goes on to, what does he score? Over 100 goals for Arsenal.
He did, yeah.
He wins the FA Cup. He plays for Arsenal for a number of years. Is that
career.
too shabby?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like what are we expecting from him at the age of 16? We are projecting, maybe not a little bit back then, but you're projecting on someone, Thierry Henry or Messi or Ronaldo. These players, they're generational talents. The only one I would say right now is hang on, what's going on with him is Phil Foden. But again, there's chat about off the field stuff with Phil Foden. We haven't got any detail, and we don't seek to find any detail.
Let's speculate.
But last season, obviously not up to his high standards, because the season before he was the best player in the league. Is that to do with burnout? Well, if you play for Guardiola for a number of seasons, I'd imagine you probably are flipping knackered after a bit. Again, the little tidbits that we've been given are to do with off-field stuff there. We shall see what happens with Phil Foden. Is this a trend? If it certainly is a trend, and people do see this, then we've got to look after footballers better. It's better than what it used to be. But if it is off the field stuff, how do you help? But I do think though that one of the issues is you get a young player, particularly if they're a pacey, wide player, which a number of these players are, and you think, oh my goodness, look at them sprinting down the wing. They're going to be Roy the Bleeding Rovers, and they're going to score 40 international goal or whatever it may be. And it's like, it just.
Do you remember when it was over the weekend actually? Wayne Rooney was on a show, and he was basically he was. Either hungover or still a little bit inebriated from Jack Grealish's birthday party, but he said
he did well to turn up.
He did well to turn up, yeah. But he was unguarded. He was funny. I love listening to Wayne Rooney, and he was basically saying, like, over the weekend, Michael Owen had to go at Wayne Rooney. Not had to go at him, but basically said, I was much better than him when I was, breaking on the scene.
Statistically, he's got a lot more goals than when he was.
And
a
Wayne Rooney
teenager.
was beautifully sang when he went. Yeah, probably was. I mean, I used to pretend that I was Michael Owen in the street and stuff.
That's the end of that chat.
I completely agree. But he basically said that he went on for like 5 minutes how much he would love.
Was he having
Michael
a tab
Owen,
at the time?
And then he went. He's not. He's not Scouse. He's Welsh. And then he basically. But he was basically saying that Michael Owen just couldn't look after his. Just couldn't deal with the injuries really, and couldn't modify his game. And it is sometimes about modifying how you play the game of football. Wayne Rooney did manage it. He didn't because he wasn't this explosive kind of like.
He managed it for a good bit,
for a good
and
bit.
a fair old chunk.
He had an amazing career. At an occasionally misfiring football club as well.
Rooney's he's one of the finest players that England has produced in the modern era. There's no two ways about that. But again, though, it's like anything. When you look back at the body of work, as we have done with Oasis this summer, you kind of forget about some of the poorer stuff, and you go, actually, incredible. And that's with Wayne Rooney, that you're wanting him to kind of go on, lead England in a major tournament and take us far and so on. When he was playing for, certainly in comparison, poorer England squads, really, and also with injuries and whatnot. And 2004, of course, it's that early promise where the stars align and he hits the ground running, and you think, right, we want this all the time. And of course, he does that an enormous amount of time, hence the goals, hence the trophies. But
only one goal at a World Cup though, Rooney.
Indeed. But I think that sometimes the expectation and the excitement of the fans is actually what needs to be checked.
Yeah, sure.
But we're excitable football fans.
Yeah, exactly. Your daydreams have no limits on them, right?
Completely. All right, coming up after this, a couple more of your questions. Got a question from Richard on Instagram. With Andre Onana seemingly on the way out just 2 years after he replaced David De Gea, on the way out of Manchester United, we should state. Do you think there's been a worse like-for-like swap of players in Premier League history? Negative question from Richard, but we do understand it, Jim.
It's spicy. I like it.
We do. But, he won things, didn't he? So, I'm sure there are worse examples. I mean, Man United themselves replaced Peter Schmeichel with Mark Bosnich.
Yeah, that one.
Which is easy to forget.
Off the field trouble.
Was it Roy Keane or one of the former Man United players who's obviously in the media a lot, who was moaning about Mark Bosnich and how unprofessional he was?
Yeah, I think he was 3 hours late to his first training session. He
First
just signed for Man United, replacing maybe their most iconic goalkeeper ever. He's 3 hours late. 3 hours.
Don't they only train for about 4?
We don't hear about Ferguson's losses like that, do we? Because we obviously talk about how well he would recycle and he would have these succession plans for different footballers who were leaving. And Man United had the money, they had the resources, and everybody wanted to play football in a Red Devil shirt. So it's kind of it's inexcusable that Alex Ferguson couldn't get it right.
But Bosnich was a good keeper. That's why he's obviously very good at Villa.
He earned the move.
Cocaine.
I mean, I'd imagine he kept that quiet.
Maybe.
By the way, sir,
you think it'd be earlier?
By the way, Alex, before you sign me, you do need to know this.
I absolutely love the chisel. On your signing, Agent Mutu.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Oh dear.
Yeah, not
So yeah,
ideal, is
I mean, there are a few at Manchester United, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, another really obvious one, which seems very harsh on the player, but because of the nature of this question, I think it applies more to goalkeepers, doesn't it? Because quite often it's rare that there is a like-for-like replacement in terms of squad building and stuff. But Gabriel Obertan was another one who came in when Cristiano Ronaldo left. And I don't think anybody's thinking, he's going to step up and do exactly the same. But the contrast is quite stark.
Talk to me about Bebe.
Bebe, of course, yeah.
But I know what you mean, though. Again, was it like for like, and when did they sign him and so on? Whereas the goalkeeper is the obvious position for this, or maybe a striker.
You make your own kind of look, I suppose. You make the difference so stark when you have really talented footballers, isn't it? So you've only got yourself to blame.
True. I mean,
be average.
Yeah, indeed.
Be a mid-table jobber of a team.
Exactly. I mean, we could stay with Man United for a while. We could even extrapolate it out to managers. And I hate to drag the good name David Moyes through the mud, and it wasn't really his fault, arguably. But
I think history would judge that he went too early.
Yeah.
Could have done with another season.
I think history will judge that anybody going to that football club after Ferguson
was on a hide into nothing. I think, again, this seems quite harsh and there's a lot of context that needs to be thought about here. But when Thierry Henry left Arsenal, they brought in Eduardo.
Yeah.
And obviously he had a horrific injury and we don't really know what level he would have hit if he'd not had that injury. But it was quite the stark step down. It was. Regardless.
I mean, Eduardo, because he was a talent. He was. Player, but, oh, dearie me. Can we move on?
Can I bring another example in that's sort of slightly adjacent to this question? It's more about a transfer that sort of it cost Barcelona more than they gained. When they signed Zlatan Ibrahimovic from Inter, they spent about £55 million on him, which seems like good business. And they sent Samuel Eto'o the other way.
Yeah.
Which is just, it seems so baffling now because it wasn't like he was on the wane. And so obviously Zlatan Ibrahimovic, we know it didn't really work out under Guardiola at Barcelona. I think he played 29 games and he was eventually loaned to AC Milan and went there permanently. But Inter used that money to sign a lot of the players that they went on to win the treble with, and obviously Eto'o was a big part of that as well. It's like that is an astonishing piece of business.
And that's a really good one, Jim. Yeah, because back-to-back Champions Leagues with two different clubs with Eto'o.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody else has done that, but if they have, it's a very few, very select group. I mean, and Eto'o was so integral with the pressing and with the way they wanted to play. Ibrahimovic was never going to do that.
No, not at all.
It was an absolutely baffling decision.
It was always a weird choice, wasn't it? It was
always goes back to our England succession plan, doesn't it? Really,
it does a bit, yeah.
Post Kane,
yeah. So I think probably Guardiola wasn't kind of fully up to speed yet, because really that side that beat Manchester United in the final at Wembley, that was them in full flow. Where it was more, I mean, David Villa was the forward then, and not a classic forward, even though he scored a lot of goals and was obviously, it's more sort of wide. In that, Thierry Henry was the wide forward that would come in, and so on. That was a bit more like Villa. But yeah, Ibrahimovic at Barcelona under Guardiola seems mad, particularly because of the personality clash as well.
Absolutely.
But perhaps there was with Eto'o, there'd be other stuff going on there. But yeah, Inter certainly benefited where when Barcelona lost out.
Can I introduce you in Benzema to Hosselu?
yeah, that's a good one.
Although
Hosselu played his part, though, didn't
he's
he?
in the Spain squad.
Got his goals against Bayern. I mean, I think you're about what would it be, like a couple of years too late with that one.
Right,
it could have been the case.
Could have been the case.
But those goals put him in immortality. But Peter, you've got the last question.
I do indeed. It's from friend of the Ramble, the real Michael on Patreon. Which country has been your favourite host of a major international tournament and why?
Qatar.
Yes.
They got to you
Tamim
too,
bin Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani did a great job.
They were
the Emir of Qatar.
This is an interesting. I mean, obviously with these tournaments, it depends what age you are and so on, and the impression, because here I go again, but Italia 90, but Italy's a very fitting place.
But it is because of the iconic stadiums, right? And that is a big part of it.
Also, the passion they have for football, such an ancient country, or an ancient land, should I say.
Big old boat.
Yeah.
Compared to some of these new lands.
Yeah.
Well, because Italy as a country itself is not actually that old, but the land, of course, is.
Yeah,
all land's pretty old,
all land's
isn't it?
fairly old, isn't it?
Well,
you get those volcanic islands that pop off.
I'm a Pangea.
Off the coast of Japan occasionally, but
we all are, Peter.
That's disgusting.
Okay, as an inhabited land.
Keep going. Keep going.
Anyway, let's move on.
Asterisks. More asterisks than Man City these days.
South Korea and Japan I thought they were good only because a number of reasons. It felt really different. It felt like whoa, because I mean America was quite different in '94, but again didn't really watch that much because it was on so late, and again the age it was.
Also, we know what America's like from all kinds of different culture.
You expect them to put on a good show, and England obviously weren't there, so you had less of a connection perhaps. But South Korea and Japan I particularly liked because a lot of them had England as their second team, and I thought they're all right with me. They're all right with me.
Wow.
But South Africa,
The Lineker connection.
yeah, South Africa was one that stood out. First World Cup in Africa
because we actually got to it.
We got a bit of a taste of the biscuit, the vuvuzelas and so on.
Yeah.
It was. I think as
Which
well.
were awful.
Not once you're there.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, Jim.
awful.
When you were like the sound of the vuvuzela, you get there like, give me one of them. So I think when you digest a tournament, unless you're there, which we tend not to be. The way you digest it is through the BBC or ITV.
Yeah.
And how does their coverage look, and what kind of paraphernalia are they going with, and so on and so forth. And I think the Africa one was just very strong in that regard. It was very different, but it was very colourful, and it was stuff we're all familiar with. With the type of animals they have there and all the rest of it. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that one was one that stood out for me.
It's about I suppose the culture of a country kind of
bit of Sing
also
Africa,
being represented
Petey.
by its football, isn't it?
Yeah, we all enjoyed the official theme of that particular thing. Yeah, we had a great time in Johannesburg, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were bloody great.
Brazil also looked fantastic again because it is a nation with such a historic tie to football, and they're absolutely crazy about it.
That semi-final just shat all over it though for me.
Yeah.
I think of Brazil World Cup and I think, they got beat and they're all crying. Nah, can't do it.
Taking all the romance out.
Yeah, it
of
really did.
Yeah.
A country though that has hosted a World Cup and obviously the most recent Euros, Germany put on a good show. I think. Although I wasn't there and didn't have to. Apparently public transport wasn't what it stereotypically should have been. But I do think they put on a good show because again, you've got the huge stadiums. You've got a huge national team with enormous history and so on. So I did quite enjoy them. And the saxophone guy. Remember leading the old saxophonist in the German shirt?
Oh, yes, it does.
Leading the chant.
Yes, I seem to remember him. Yes.
I think Jim's forgotten.
Yeah, no, it rings a vague bell.
For that summer,
I might just be remembering saxophones.
For that summer, he was the most important man in Europe.
Yeah, okay.
I am looking forward, though, I'm already looking forward to the 2030 World Cup because I think Spain and Portugal and Morocco, I think that's a lovely flavour.
You better start eating better, mate. It's a long time away.
Right.
You've had 3 jammy dodgers this morning.
I've had one.
You watch out.
I've had one.
I've had a jammy dodger as well.
Yeah,
You've had a jammy dodger as well.
It is
No, your mouths are so claggy.
It's within the realms of possibility that I may be up to 3 by the time I leave the building.
Yeah.
But
little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
The building we're in now has free snacks, and Marcus Speller
Oh,
is
he
like
does-
a dog with unlimited
They
appendages.
don't even need to be out on the table because he's found the card.
Yeah, he knows where they are.
one of your most pathetic moments, Peter.
Right.
You think you're all Mr.
Average.
Oh,
You're the one
Captain
stealing
hang on.
jammy dodgers
Let me-
from cupboards.
Let me clarify my comments.
right.
Oh, Captain Chaos himself, Donaldson. I said, should we go and see if the snacks are out? Which you agreed.
Yeah.
And then you went, then they're not out. And I went, oh, they're just up in this cupboard here. And you went, no, but the man comes along and takes them out.
He does, yeah. His name is his name is either Mikhail or Antonio, and I can't remember which one.
That's good.
I think it's Antonio.
I'd
Is it
go with
Antonio?
Antonio.
He's not
Is
like
it
the
Antonio?
gatekeeper of the snack
Yeah,
cupboard.
but I
Pete.
mean,
What
you
do you think he's
shouldn't
gonna do?
disrespect him. You got to
gonna
wait until Daddy Antonio puts him out.
Do you think he would honestly kick off if he saw me having a Jaffa? Before
Maybe.
I was going to
No.
put him out. I'll do it for you, Antonio. Yeah, that's fine, no bother.
Yeah, but
Pete's cowering in the
you
corner.
don't use. You don't
Marcus,
use.
no, he's going to hit
You don't use a scoop. You just stick your head in and eat your way out. It's disgusting.
Well, there we are.
Yeah.
Different styles.
Different styles. For different
So
needs.
yeah, so there's a few countries there.
Yeah,
What
I
about
mean-
old England, Jim?
Yeah, I like it. It's
I like the final.
local.
I like
It's local to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more
Easy-
convenient when
Easy,
it's here.
easy to break into the national stadium if you fancy it.
There you go.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah,
fancy just pushing your way in.
everyone's
Everyone's
invited
in.
to the final.
Yeah. Everyone's invited.
Bundle! yeah. Of course, Ghana would be another one for me because I went to the African Cup of Nations when it was out there.
Very nice. Yeah, that would be decent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd let her do some.
But did you have a particular favourite though, Peter?
I did see a lot of the remnants. What would it have been? Maybe 6 years later, after the Korean adventures, like a lot of like the paraphernalia was still sort of kicking around.
The legacy.
And, like, there's like a train station that's the last train station before Pyongyang, basically on obviously South Korean soil.
Yes.
And there was like a lot of like World Cup. Bits and ball, like big, massive sort of ball statues and stuff.
That's great, isn't it? I do like that when you have the sort of the legacy of it. 'Cause
Yeah,
it
massively.
Was, 2002, obviously, they hosted.
I was in Portugal shortly after Euro 2004, and all of the stuff was still up, and it was pretty great. And also, Portugal have that amazing stadium. It's Braga Stadium, isn't it? Or I think it's certainly in that
it's
region.
Braga.
Estadio Municipal de Braga. I don't think you say it like that, but that was the one where part of it is just a cliffside, isn't it?
It was in a quarry or so,
Yeah.
wherever it was built. Was that? I don't think that was for.
I think it was built for the tournament.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to see. It's never going to happen because it'd be politically spicy, and there's probably no money in it for FIFA. But
The Basque Country.
Taiwan would be really good. Great train. I don't think they've got that many stadiums there, but it'd be a very. It has the infrastructure to have a festival of football.
And Saipan's nearby if anybody wants to do a pre-tournament training.
Pre-tournament training.
I mean, I've said this before as well, and I know we're sort of answering a slightly different question here, but I think a Scandinavian joint endeavour would be great for something. I mean, Marcus, I know you're of the opinion they probably don't have a stadium big enough to host the final.
They don't.
But maybe the FIFA fat cats and bigwigs could give up their seats, and then more of the regular Joes could come.
I don't think they
we
would.
could have like 1 matches in the sunshine
Oh, that'd be nice.
on a fjord.
Svalbard. That's where I want to see it.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a
Is
very
that where
very,
Santa lives?
No, it's practically. Yeah, it's very very northern. I think it's one of those places that's like dark for 6 months of the year and light for 6 months.
We need to take Greenland. we need to
Yeah.
take Greenland.
It's strategically important
Strategically
for World
We're
Cups.
gonna have it in Greenland.
I think we should have a World Cup in Greenland or the North Pole because let's see how all these fancy dans get on when it's cold weather.
Exactly.
They don't
we
like
all
it
talk
up
about
on-
warm weather training.
Exactly, there you
Come
go.
and train in Wales. That's why the SS is the best in the world. God damn it.
Yes,
'Cause
exactly.
they're always
yeah.
in a boggy marsh in Wales
Or Scotland, Peter.
or Scotland.
You got the Black Watch up in
Right.
northern Scotland. Yeah.
There you go.
There we are. The real Michael.
And you
went
said you
off
never seen
on
Game
the-
of Thrones.
Yeah. Isn't that in Northern Ireland?
Just the Black Watch, Dark Watch. I don't know what they're called.
All
Just
right.
sounded a bit Game of Thronesy.
Well, it's filmed in Northern Ireland.
I'm sure it is.
Right.
Good.
We should have had this conversation
Off
in
mic.
the future when the mics are off.
Over a
I
jammy
believe-
dogger or 10.
I believe some of it is filmed in Croatia. The hot bits are.